So we're looking at how to make efficient code in terms of memory usage and processor time. The next thing that I'm going to add to my program, I'm going to put in some counters to find out how many prices are under 5, between 5 and 10 inclusive, and over £10. So if we go back to the live code program, you'll see that I've added some fields in order to display that data information. So you can see that I've got one price that's under £5, two that are between £5 and £10, those two there, and I've got one that's over £10. And although I did set out talking about 20 prices, I've still got that sitting at 4 because that lets me test the program quite easily. You'll notice that I've added in 3 variables, count under 5, count between, and count over 10. And if we just have a look at this diagram here, I've still got my price variable with its 20 parts, and I've now got these 3 little counters here, so that as I look at my different prices, so the first price might be between 5 and 10, so that might go up by 1. Then my second price might be below 5, so it would go up by 1. My third price might be between 5 and 10 again, so that might go up to 2. And then my fourth price might be over 10, and that would go up by 1. So these are counting up how many of the prices fall into each of the different categories. So I've got those variables up at the top. You'll notice that I've created my own handler. This handler is called MouseUp, and it's a system handler provided by LiveCode for when you click on things. So I've written a little handler called initialize because I thought I would put, if I just go down here, let's go down to the bottom of the page, I've put on initialize, and again I could call this handler Bob and then just write Bob up here and it'll make this handler happen, but this seems like a better name for it. So these lines will initialize my fields, just clear the fields, and then these lines will put 0 into my counter variables, these ones here, so that I can start counting. So we'll go back up to the top of the page. So that's my handler called initialize, and there's my loop that gets the data and assigns it to the variable called price. So I was looking at assignment statements and output statements in terms of efficiency, and I'm now going to look at selection statements. Selection statements are ones that, let's just see if I can move this down a little bit. Selection statements, most languages, you can use if, and it's a way of selecting to carry out an instruction based on the value of a variable or a condition. So I've got 3 different conditions here. I've got if my price is under 5, if my price is between 5 and 10 inclusive, the equal signs there. So this is what we call a complex condition because there are 2 conditions that both have to be true. This one and this one has to be true for this variable to go up by 1. This was just a simple condition because it was just the one condition, and the same thing here, just a simple condition over 10, and then my little counter variable for that will go up by 10. And that's inside this loop, so it'll look at all the 4 prices. If I want to do 5 prices, I can just change that to 5, and suddenly I'm talking about 5 prices. So much nicer to program than the original book. It's 6, I think. So let's see this working. If I click on here, the first thing should happen is my initialize procedure or handler, and so the fields all get cleared. So let's do one between 5 and 10, so 675. Let's do one between, we'll do another one between 5 and 10, then we'll do a £1 below 5. We've got 6 numbers to put in. Let's do an over 10, so I'll go £12.50, and we'll do, now why is it only 4? Oh, that's because that's 4 there. Let's change that to 6. Let's do 6 numbers. So £6.75, £8.80, one under £5, let's do over £5, sorry, £10, and let's do £9. So I should have 3 there, and I'll do another one that's under £5. There, so let's just check under 5. Well, that's this one here and this one. Between 5 and 10, 1, 2, and 3. And then this one is my over £10. So these are selection statements. Now, if we're talking about memory usage, we really have to ask about the different conditions. So we're going to need that in some way held in memory, these conditions. But what we can do is something about the processor time that's being used, because at the moment, regardless of what the number is, it's asking this question. So if the first price had been, say, £3, that would have been true, and it would have done that, and it wouldn't have needed to ask this question or this question for that first number. The second number, it might have been under 5 again, and then it wouldn't need to ask that, it wouldn't need to ask that. So at the moment, this is relatively inefficient, excuse me, in terms of processor time. And again, these are very small programs, but if we're talking about huge programs where there's lots of selection going on, like a game program, is the enemy running this way or that way or up or down, it does make a difference how busy you make the processor. So I'm going to change this. So instead of going end there, I'm going to put in the word else. And that way I can say, if it's under 5, do that, else, or otherwise, if that's true, then do that, else, if that's true, then do that. Oops, I'm into caps lock. Now we seem to have... Right, let's just see if that works.